for more than 3,000 years. The story of China's first dynasty, the Xia Dynasty, lingered between myth and memory. Ancient texts spoke of kings who ruled with bronze and jade, of floods that shaped the land, and of a ruler named Yu the Great, who tamed the raging waters and founded the first kingdom of China. But for centuries, no trace of this dynasty could be found. Scholars debated whether it was real or only a legend woven to glorify later emperors. Then, in the heart of Henan Province, archaeologists began to uncover the ruins of an ancient city, a city older than the Shang, grander than the villages that came before, and advanced beyond its time. Its name was Erlitou, and many believe it is the key to solving one of history's greatest mysteries. Did the Xia dynasty truly exist? Welcome back to Whispers of Lost World, where forgotten empires rise again through the echoes of time. I'm your name, and today we journey deep into the cradle of Bronze Age China to uncover the truth behind Erlitou, a city of kings, artisans, and visionaries who forged the dawn of Chinese civilization. By the end of this story, you'll see how a supposed legend may, in fact, have been one of humanity's earliest true kingdoms. The tale begins with chaos. Around 2100 BC, China was a land of floods and shifting tribes. The Great Yellow River, both giver and destroyer of life, repeatedly drowned vast plains. Out of this turmoil came the legend of Yu the Great, the man who tamed the floods. Ancient chronicles tell us Yu channeled the wild river into canals, saved his people, and was rewarded with the mandate of heaven, becoming the first ruler of the Xia dynasty. For thousands of years, Chinese historians accepted this as truth. But when Western archaeologists and modern scholars began searching for evidence, they found nothing certain. No inscriptions, no palaces, no cities clearly marked Xia. Some dismissed it entirely as mythology. Yet deep beneath the fields of Luoyang Basin, evidence was waiting. In the 1950s, during routine surveys in Yanxi County, a cluster of ancient walls and pottery shards caught researchers' attention. But by 1959, full excavations began, and what they found was extraordinary. Massive palace foundations, perfectly planned streets, workshops for bronze casting and turquoise inlay, and tombs rich with ritual artifacts emerged from the earth. Carbon dating placed them between 1900 BC and 1500 BC, exactly the time the Xia were said to rule. The site became known as Erlitou, after the nearby village. And soon, the debate ignited. Was this the capital of the Xia dynasty itself? The evidence seemed to whisper, yes. At its height, Erlitou covered nearly 300 hectares, an immense size for its time. The city's heart was a palatial complex built on raised rammed earth platforms. With central courtyards and surrounding administrative zones, bronze workshops lined its southern district, producing ritual vessels and weapons of stunning precision. Nearby, jade ornaments glimmered in burial chambers, carved into the shapes of dragons and tigers, the earliest known symbols of royal power in East Asia. For a moment, imagine walking through Erlitou at its zenith. It is dawn. Mist clings to the riverbanks as the first light strikes the bronze foundries. Workers hammer molds. Molten metal flows into elegant ritual shapes. The air smells of earth and fire. From the palace gates, chariots of wood and leather creak along the packed roads carrying nobles clad in silk and jade. Priests prepare offerings, musicians strike bone flutes, and in the center hall, a ruler sits upon a wooden throne, receiving tribute from the clans of the plains. This is not a village. It is a kingdom in motion, organized, hierarchical, and filled with ambition. What makes Erlitou revolutionary is not just its architecture, but its political sophistication. Archaeologists discovered evidence of a highly centralized administration, storage facilities, workshops divided by craft type, and ceremonial bronzes produced under strict control. This was a planned economy, a bureaucracy in its infancy. The Erlitou people were managing resources, distributing goods, and enforcing order long before any written script recorded their rule. For centuries, historians believe China's statehood began with the Shang dynasty. Around 1600 BC, thanks to the oracle bone inscriptions found at Yinyang, but Erlitou now pushes that timeline back by several hundred years. Its palaces, roads, and bronze technology predate the Shang. This means that when the Shang rose, they inherited or conquered an existing political structure. In other words, the Shang may have overthrown the Xia, just as the ancient texts claimed. The argument deepened when scientists compared the Erlitou artifacts with later Shang culture. The continuity is unmistakable. The same ceremonial vessels, known as ding and gui, appear in both. The earliest examples of bronze ritual cauldrons used to symbolize power originate here. Even the color scheme of turquoise and jade, symbols of the heavens and the earth, is consistent with later dynastic traditions. Erlitou wasn't an isolated culture. It was the foundation of China's entire imperial aesthetic. Still, skeptics remain. They argue that while Erlitou fits the Shah's timeline and location, it lacks inscriptions to prove the dynasty's name. Erlitou, they say, is simply the most advanced of China's early Bronze Age cultures, not necessarily the Shah described in the ancient chronicles, but others counter that written language evolves slowly. The Xia may have ruled through oral tradition, their legacy preserved not in script, but in myth. Myth, after all, is only history told through memory. To understand Erlitou's power, we must look at its craftsmanship. The city's workshops mass-produced bronze tools and ornaments, something unseen elsewhere in East Asia at the time. The alloys were controlled precisely, showing advanced metallurgical knowledge. Nearby, potters created thin-walled gray ceramics using fast wheels, their designs symmetrical and deliberate. Jade carvers produced masterpieces, small dragon pendants, ritual axes, and tubes symbolizing communication with heaven. Each object speaks of hierarchy and devotion. In one grave, archaeologists found an array of turquoise inlays forming the outline of a dragon nearly a meter long, the earliest known depiction of the mythical beast in Chinese art. This alone ties Erlitou to the mythic identity of the Xia. To the ancient Chinese, the dragon was not a monster. It was the divine emblem of kingship, order, and cosmic balance. And here in the soil of Henan, that symbol came to life in stone and bronze. As the centuries passed, Erlitou's reach expanded. Satellite sites in western Henan, Shangxi, and Shanxi reveal a network of smaller towns connected by trade and tribute. Scholars believe this was a state-level civilization, a ruling core that commanded surrounding territories through alliances and control of bronze technology. It was, in effect, the first Chinese kingdom. But no empire lasts forever. Around 1550 BC, Erlitou began to fade. Layers of ash and debris show that sections of the palace burned. Population density declined.
Soon.
A new culture, the Erligang, ancestral to the Shang, rose nearby at Guangzhou, bringing new bronze forms and grander walls. To many, this marks the transition from Xia to Shang, the legendary dynastic shift recorded in the bamboo annals and records of the grand historian. If Erlitou was indeed Xia, then its fall wasn't a mystery. It was a succession of power, the first of many in China's long imperial chain. But why does this matter today? It's because the discovery of Erlitou forces us to confront a deeper truth about how civilizations remember themselves. Every culture begins with a myth. Egypt had its gods of the Nile. Mesopotamia had Gilgamesh. And China had Yu the Great, the man who conquered floods and built the first throne. For millennia, skeptics doubted him. Yet the city that fits his story now lies exposed under our feet. The myth may have been history all along. Modern technology continues to reveal new secrets, from Erlitou to using ground-penetrating radar and aerial LiDAR scans. Archaeologists have mapped its road network and found evidence of water channels possibly linked to flood control, echoing Yu's legend. Analysis of ancient soil layers suggests a massive flood event occurred near the Yellow River around 1920 BC. It's corresponding with the legendary Great Flood described in Chinese myths. Science and legend are aligning more closely than anyone expected. Recent digs have also uncovered the remains of a ceremonial bronze workshop near the palace, where master smiths crafted ritual vessels using a two-piece clay mold, a technique that would define Chinese bronze work for centuries. These workshops were state-controlled. Only the elites could authorize production. This is political power expressed through metallurgy, a hallmark of early Chinese kingship. And then there is the mystery of ritual and faith. In the center of Erlitou's palace complex, archaeologists found altars shaped like the Chinese character dome, meaning center. This design reflects the concept of Zhongwu, the Middle Kingdom, China's later name for itself. To think that this worldview began not in imperial times but here, in a Bronze Age city without writing, is astonishing. It suggests that Erlitou was not just a political capital, but a spiritual blueprint for all future dynasties. As you can see, every layer of this city tells the same story: order, hierarchy, divinity, and innovation, the DNA of Chinese civilization itself. Yet the silence of Erlitou remains haunting. No inscriptions record its kings. No chronicles name its builders. All that survives are fragments: jade, bronze, earth, and so the debate endures. Some call it Erlitou culture, others the Xia Dynasty. But perhaps the distinction no longer matters. What matters is that beneath the myths of dragons and floods lies the memory of real people, people who built roads, smelted bronze, and dreamed of eternity. If we listen closely, the silence speaks. Imagine now a closing scene. The city lies quiet, long after its last fires faded. The river that once sustained it glides past, unchanged. Above, the stars that guided ancient astronomers still shimmer over Henan. Archaeologists kneel in the soil, brushing dust from bronze relics that have not seen sunlight for 4,000 years. Each artifact, each shard, whispers the same truth: that civilization's roots go deeper than we dared believe. Erlitou is not just ruins. It is a revelation. It proves that the story of the Xia Dynasty, once dismissed as myth, may in fact be the first chapter of recorded Chinese history. So, was the Xia Dynasty real? The evidence of Erlitou answers not with certainty, but with wonder. It shows us that the line between legend and archaeology is thin, and that sometimes the oldest myths are simply memories waiting to be rediscovered. If this journey through China's lost Bronze Age kingdom fascinated you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Whispers of Lost World, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into history's greatest mysteries. Love to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Erlitou was the real Xia Dynasty? Was you the great a myth, or a memory of humanity's first hydraulic engineer? Leave your theories in the comments below, because the past is never truly gone. It only whispers through the ruins we choose to hear.